Hey, good morning. Justin Gaynor here in Peanut Island, Florida. Just woke up early this morning, and it has been a really intense couple weeks for me. And so I just want to take some time this morning to kind of share with you what's been going on. I sailed down here, motor sailed down here from Daytona. I left before Thanksgiving. And it ended up taking me a lot longer to get here than I thought. I was expecting like a 3-day trip, and motor stopped working on me about Melbourne. Ended up in a little mouth of a little river called the Ugali River, and it took me a while to fix my motor. Ran out of money. It was hectic, but I finally got here, and I was so excited to be here. When I finally got the motor fixed, I left at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and just motor sailed 19 hours straight until I finally dropped the hook in Lake Worth, and was there for a little while. And I just felt like a really weird anchorage. There was like a couple other boats there, but I never actually saw any other, boat people or sailors out there. And so I decided to go a little bit further south to drop the anchor in Lantana, just outside of this little restaurant called the Old Key Lime House. And it was a nice anchorage and everything like that, but the water was still the same as it was kind of in Daytona, very dark, like nothing I would jump in and go swimming around in or anything like that. And weird stuff started happening to my boat, like my rudder like suddenly was disconnected from the boat, and the bolt that held it in place was like completely missing, and just weird stuff. 2 of my lines got severed on my anchors. By the grace of God, I choose to do what's called a Bohemian mooring, where there's basically 2 anchors out. If I hadn't done that, my boat would have probably been smashed up against something. And so I decided to come north here to Peanut Island, and it's just been really intense. I got in a motorcycle accident where I was headed southbound on Dixie, and it's in that section of road. It's got 2 lanes that are both heading south, and I was in the left lane. There was a gal in the right lane, and I don't know if she went to make a left-hand turn from the right lane, thinking that it was 2 different lanes going different directions, and kind of looked in front of her and saw there was nobody coming and went to turn on to Gardenia, or if she was just changing. I don't know what she was doing, but she smashed my leg up against my motorcycle, and I looked over, and I made eye contact, and I said, "What are you doing?" And then almost as soon as the words escaped my mouth, I just went flying and landed on the back of my lower right hip, and the medics came and everything, and it was just like this big insane thing. Well, the result of that is that I'm pretty sure they're going to total my bike. I got a list of all the parts and everything that's going to take to rebuild it and get it back functioning again, because it didn't even run when I dropped it off. And it's going to be like over $10,000 worth of repairs. The bike's, on a good day, it's worth $10,000. And so they're probably just going to total the bike, because they're not going to want to reinsure that, I wouldn't think. But I'm waiting to hear back about that. So in the process of towing my bike from where it was here in Palm Beach to the Indian dealership up in Hobe Sound, I dropped it off up there, and then on the way back, my motor started overheating in my Land Rover, and so I pulled over on 45th Street I pulled over on North Lake and filled it up with water, got it running again. The temperature gauge was on point. Got back on the highway. By the time I made it to 45th, it was starting to overheat again, so I pull off the highway, and all of a sudden it started making all sorts of insane sounds and everything. And so and it just shut off, and I rolled into the front of this really nice housing development, right by the guard gate. Well, I don't think there was a guard gate, but it's if there was a guard gate, that's where it would have been. You know what I'm talking about? Like the entrance to a big fancy place to live. And all of a sudden, Land Rover motor blew up. And so at that point, I was like, I got to be at work in like 45 minutes. And I called an Uber, I Ubered to work and just left the car just sitting there. And I said, I'll take care of it tomorrow. And went and worked my shift. And next day I had someone come and tow it over there. And my buddy Brian, who's a mechanic, he said, you know, you can tow it over to my house. I'll take a look at it. And he messaged me. He said, dude, he said, it's done. It's done. It's not repairable. And I'm like, great. And so the last couple weeks I've been without any transportation other than public transportation or, pretty much the bus or Uber or Lyft. And so it's just it's been kind of crazy. It's like I'm in paradise, and it's like you're not just in paradise, you're like in paradise because you're not going anywhere because you don't have a vehicle. And of course, you know, my brother is always willing to step up. He's like, I got a truck for you. It's been sitting here for like a year. You can come get it, and we'll put it in your name and throw your plate on there. And so I thought about that, and I'm just like, man, I don't feel a peace about that. So I was just like, you know, I'm super appreciative of you offering like make that big of a move to help me. I really appreciate it, but I'm gonna pass on that. And so here I am. I reached out to my credit union, who I had the loan with on the Land Rover, and full coverage does not cover mechanical failure. So they are going. I did what they call a voluntary surrender. So they're gonna take the Land Rover, what's left of it, and take it to auction, get what they can, pay down, you know, my loan on it, and then I'll just be responsible for whatever the difference is. And so the Rover is going to be costing me money even though I don't have it, and I still don't know what the insurance adjuster is going to do with the Indian Scout. I think the typical rule of thumb is if the repairs are more than 80% of the current cash value of the vehicle, they just total it because they don't want to reinsure it. So I'm pretty sure that that's going to happen. And so I don't know. So we'll see how that goes. But in the midst of all the craziness, I'm just like trying to figure out what the next step is. But I've met some really cool people here with Fellowship by the Seas. It was crazy. I pulled up here and started looking for a new church in the area, since I'm going to be up in this area now, and didn't see anything like within walking distance. And next thing I know, like this boat pulls up. It says Fellowship on the Seas, and I meet this crazy guy named Terry who says, "Oh, we're gonna be having church like right next to you." And I'm like, shut up, really? And so I went over there and met everybody. Like the first service that I went to, that I saw them holding over there, and I felt terrible because I had to leave early. I didn't feel terrible, but I know it was kind of weird. It's like, oh, he's kind of, anytime you're in a church, especially that small of a church, it's like, oh, he's coming to check out our fellowship and see, you know, if he's going to be cool with us and we're going to be cool with him and stuff. And then it's like, in the, you know, like 20 minutes before the service ended, I'm like, hey man, my brother and my nephews and my niece and my sister are here, and I'm going to go meet them for lunch because they're like from like 300 miles away. And so so it was kind of weird. But then this Sunday I went over there and we had a great time and had a wonderful message from the guest pastor that has been supporting Terry the whole time as far as launching this outreach ministry, and just had a great time of fellowship afterwards, some good food, and met some more people. And they said it was probably one of the biggest gatherings that they've had since they started this whole thing. So that was pretty cool. So in the midst of the chaos, God is still very, very present. And that's one of the things I said, you know, it's like I got here and I'm like, God, where can I go from your spirit? How does a church on a boat pull up right next to me out of all this place around here. And so I was like, all right. And so it's pretty cool. My dad is, I called him and he's like, he didn't answer. And I'm like, what's going on? And he calls me back a few hours later and he's like, I forgot to tell you I'm in Hawaii now. I'm like, you're in Hawaii? He's like, yeah. He says, so don't call me in the middle of the night anymore. And it's the weirdest thing. I have this strange connection with my dad. Whenever he does this, he goes to Hawaii and his sleep pattern changes. Like my sleep pattern changes. Like it's the weirdest thing. Like when he's here, I sleep normal hours. When he's there, I wake up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and like it's crazy. And so just really weird how you're connected. I know they say that about twins, but I didn't know that happened between dads and their kids, but apparently it does. And anyway, I'm getting ready to get my day started. Gonna take a little saltwater bath as I dive in here and scrub down and get my day started. Go get a hot cup of coffee, and it's looking like it's going to be another beautiful day in paradise. But it has been a challenging couple weeks, and it's been quite a few years since I've not had a vehicle. So we'll see how that all plays out. I'm probably going to be looking for something here locally that I can, pick up for $1,000 or something like that. When I first came back to Florida, I found that for $600 I bought this old 85 GMC Safari. It was the first year they made that vehicle, and it was owned by this biker guy in Port Orange, and he had it on Craigslist, and I paid him $600 cash for it. It looked like a freaking rolling meth lab. The guy was a painter, so it had all these chemicals in the back of it and like stuff like that, and I like gutted the whole thing. I drove for $600 though. I drove that van for like almost 2 years. And so anyway, but beautiful morning this morning. I hope you guys are having a good week so far. I'm getting ready to start my week. My days off now are on Sundays and Mondays, and so I'm glad to be working some normal shifts now. I had to let Brian over at the Rock Irish pub know that it's just not going to be viable for me to work there, because by the time I Uber there and Uber back, I'm spending $50 to earn what you earn in a 8-hour shift cooking at a restaurant, which is it's just not realistic. So he was cool. He said you can come back anytime you want to, and it definitely makes sense if it's going to cost you that much to get here and stuff. So provided for as far as having to work, which is one of the really cool things about being here in South Florida. I've found that it's much easier to find work here than I had such a difficult time doing that in Central Florida. So I'm not sure why. It's just I don't know, just different, I guess. More opportunity here, and so other than that, as you can see, it's a very cool, beautiful morning this morning. Here, let me show you a little bit. So anyway, grace and peace be with you. Have a wonderful week.